All right, good morning, everybody. This is Marc, Isaac. I'm going to be the host for today's conference call. So let's make sure we send a last minute text message to everybody so we can have an incredible good morning GPS call. So we're going to get this call started in about 1 minute. Good to see everybody. Mr. DJ, good to see you, sir. Mr. Chris, hello. Ms. Renata, hello. Mr. Williams, good to see you, sir. Mr. Steve, welcome on the call, everybody. Mr. Sean Liu, good to see you. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and get this call started in about 1 minute. Maui in the house. I love it. I have to give a lot of respect for Maui and anyone in Hawaii because it's 5 a.m. right now over there. So good morning to every single person that's jumping on the call today. Mr. Richard, good to see you. Mr. Joseph, hello, sir. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started in a few minutes. So all right, everybody, welcome on the call. We're going to go ahead and get started in about 30 seconds. So if you have anybody in your organization that is not on the call yet, let's make sure we send a last minute text message because we want to have an opportunity to have some incredible training to kick off this week stronger than ever before. And I love the fact that we have a chance to get on Zoom so we can all see each other. We can have an opportunity to grow together as an organization and as a company and take this company to 1 billion and beyond. And so let's go ahead and get started. And first of all, everybody, I want to welcome every single person for jumping on the call today. And I'm going to actually be your host and also do majority of the training today. And, one of the things I do want to start off the call with is just first of all, welcoming every single person on the call. It's so crazy because as we were promoting this event, I know we have people that is in Hawaii right now. It's 5 a.m. in Hawaii. I believe 8 a.m. in California. In the Pacific Standard Time. It's 10 o'clock here in Texas where I'm currently from, and I know in the East Coast it's about 11 o'clock. So this is an exciting time where we're all together and we're all having an opportunity to just spend the morning together to kick off this week stronger than ever before. And what gets me excited is the fact that we're still at our pre-launch phase and the fact that we still have enough time right now to position ourselves so when we do launch in the first week of June, we could all be at the highest position and we could all have a great 30-day success story. We could all go out there and have a great first check story. And it's really all about the story that you create that can help you go out there and see more success than you could even imagine, right? And so, why I was excited is because earlier this morning, I had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Danny Bay, and he's actually currently right now in back-to-back meetings, even meetings past midnight, and he was telling me just a lot of exciting things that's happening in Korea, which I'm excited for him to share with you, but he asked me for last minute to be able to get on this call to just share a few things with each and every one of you to at least get the week started for Good Morning GPS. And, I just wanted to share with you a few things that I've learned throughout my last 10 years, even though for some people, 10 years could be a long time. To me, it seemed like it went by really, really quickly. And there's just so many things that I've learned and so many things that I've experienced that I believe could help each and every one of you go out there and see success in GPS. Whether you've been in this industry for a long time or maybe you're brand new, one of the things that I've learned is that success has principles. And I was very fortunate to actually meet some very successful individuals, not just in the network marketing space, but in industries that they did amazing things in. I was very fortunate to go out there and have, Mr. Danny Bay and Mr. Michael on as my very first millionaire mentors that I've ever met. And that started my career in 2010 when I was 19 years old. And, it's crazy because I really believe that mentorship could truly change your life. In fact, one of my billionaire mentors, an individual that had a thriving business and still has a thriving business. He actually used to own the largest private investigation company in the world. He created companies like Veggie Tales. He created companies that were the largest chain of magician shops and made, a lot of money. And he told me one thing that always stuck in my mind and he said, Mark, mentors are like having a cheat sheet in life. A mentor is like having a cheat sheet in life. They're going to teach you the things that work and the things that don't work. And it's your obligation to understand the difference. And if you apply the things that work, guess what? You could progress a lot quicker. You could experience less pain if you just listen to them. But he also said that if you don't listen to them, guess what? You're going to make your own mistakes, and it might hurt you so much that you're not going to want to keep moving forward. And so that always stuck in my mind. And so when I got involved in this industry, I remember being presented by the information that I saw for the first time by Mr. Michael. My very first international convention that I went to with my previous company, I met Mr. Danny Bay. And it was so unique because I was able to meet people that were really far ahead in their careers, but they were also in a position where I felt like I could really learn from them because, they were within 10 years of my age. And I felt like, oh my gosh, they're like older brothers to me that I could learn from. They're like individuals that I could really invest my time learning exactly what they're saying, exactly what they're doing, how they're doing certain things. And that's really what shifted everything for me. And, I remember one of the first things that Mr. Michael actually shared with me. It was a personal development that I know a lot of people on this call have heard of before. But sometimes I realize that we get so busy working and so busy, doing the basics of making a phone call, going out there and presenting the opportunity, or even as simple as going out there and just meeting new people to build a bigger list of people to contact. But we forget sometimes the things that we learned from our personal development. And there's things that you need to learn when you need to apply it. And there's things that you need to know when it's important to learn certain things. And, one of the things that I remember listening to that I know a lot of people on this call heard of is, The Secret. And anyone ever heard or listened to The Secret before? I watched the movie because back then I wasn't much of a reader, but, in The Secret, I was like, what is this all about? And they talked about something called law of attraction. And I'm sure a lot of us on this call have heard of law of attraction before. And if you haven't, all it stands for is this. They said that law of attraction says whatever you want in life, you can attract it by just sheer thought and will. You could actually attract it into your life. And, I didn't understand how crazy this was until now I start looking back the last 10 years of things that actually occurred in my life. And one of the things that was so unique is that I was a 19-year-old college dropout. Only job was waiting tables, but I was just one of those people that believed it. I don't know what it is. I listened to that personal development and they said, even on this video, they said, if you don't believe this, guess what? It's not going to help you. If you believe it, think about how fun it is. And I'm thinking to myself, like, let me just try this, right? And I would remember in my car, I would print out the logo of the cars that I want, and I would stick it right there on my steering wheel. So even though that I was driving a Mitsubishi Montero XLS, I would have that BMW logo right there on my steering wheel. For some of you might think it's crazy, but no, till today, I still do that. I remember when I would post a picture of one of the cars that I've always wanted. And I remember Mr. Danny Bay, one of the very first exotic cars that I saw him own was an Aston Martin DB9. And I was a 19-year-old kid that had no idea what an Aston Martin was. But I literally, check this out. This is how silly I was when I got involved in this industry. When I saw Mr. Danny Bay, when he bought his very first exotic car, DB9, I thought to myself, oh, he has a custom car. DB stands for Danny Bay. And I knew his favorite number was 9. I knew his favorite number was 9, right? And I was thinking to myself, how gangster is Mr. Danny Bay where he has his own custom car? His initial and his favorite number. Wow. And I didn't even know what an Aston Martin was. So I had that on my vision board. I had a picture of that on my vision board. I said, I'm going to have a car just like him. I remember Mr. Tommy Lee, was also a mentor from afar, even though we weren't in the same organization in our previous company. And he said, if you want to be like that person, figure out what they eat, figure out what they do, talk like them. And what's crazy? I literally took that so seriously. I was that coachable. And you know what's crazy? I remember putting that picture of that car, DB9, on my vision board. And I said, one day I'm going to get that car. One day I'm going to get that car. The next thing you know, Mr. Michaelon got that car. And I'm thinking to myself, that's so sick. Mr. Michaelon also has a DB9. I don't know why he got a DB9 because his initials ain't DB. His favorite number isn't 9, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you know what? If he's doing it and he's my mentor, I better do the same thing too. And you know what's crazy? I said to myself, I'm going to have a car just like Mr. Danny Bay. Then I remember when I got promoted to a really prestigious position, to the position of VP in my previous company, I remember Mr. Danny Bay giving me a call and saying, hey, Marc, congratulations, on your promotion. You worked very, very hard. And, I think it's important for you to have a nice car. And I was thinking about, getting rid of my DB9. Would you like to buy it? And I'm thinking to myself, yes, I would love to buy it. Didn't know how I was going to pay for it at the time, because every check that I got from my company before, I'm not a money motivated person. I gave it to my parents because I wanted to help them out. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, I'll buy the car. And then when he hung up, I was thinking to myself, wow, this thing does work. This law of attraction thing does work. And then next thing you know, I purchased the car from Mr. Danny Bay. So that exact car that he had was the exact car that was in my garage. So I'm saying this because not just one instant of it happening. No, I'm sharing this because guess what? Think about this for a second. Okay, ask yourself this question. What do you want right now? What do you want right now? A lot of us wanted an opportunity and you got GPS, but what else do you want? Do you really want to be an influencer 200K? Do you want to go out there and have a first 5-figure month when we launch? Do you want to be positioned as influencer 10K so you can go to Singapore with us when we go to our first retreat? See, the reality is this: if you don't know what you want, it's going to be very hard and very difficult to attract it into your life right now. See, my mentors always instilled in me, and they always ask me, Marc, what do you want? What do you have to do to get that? What do you have to go out there and achieve what you want? They would always ask me these questions every single day. And if you know Mr. Michaelon, and for some of you that are getting to know him, Mr. Michaelon, when I worked with him side by side, day one, when he moved from California to Texas, and we met in Texas, and he started from scratch from his previous company to boom, and build one of the most thriving organizations in the industry. Every single day he would ask me, Marc, what's your goal today? What's your goal today? What's your goal today? And this is one thing that I was so blessed and fortunate to have in my life, is Mr. Michaelon saying to me every single day, what did I want? Because I was that guy that would say, well, I'm going to just try my best. But he said to me, Marc, what if your best is not good enough? And you know what's crazy is this: he would instill in me the idea of every day waking up, are you going out there and accomplishing something? And do you have a clear target that you can hit every single day? A lot of us that maybe wake up that's not used to that type of environment, or maybe doesn't have that accountability partner around us. Sometimes it's easy to wake up and just go through the day, like Jim Rohn says, instead of getting from the day. Are you going to let this week go by, or are you going to get a lot of it off of it? Are you going to let every single day that happens right now this week, are you going to go out there and maximize this week? Are you going to be in a position where you're going to have the opportunity to go all out and max out your results? Or are you just going to see what you can do and who you can talk to? See, that's one thing about Mr. Michaelon that I was so blessed and fortunate with, is that everything that I did, he always showed me that there was another notch higher that I could achieve and I could go out there and have in my life. So the reality is, when it comes to law of attraction and when it comes to getting involved right now here in GPS, the question I do want to start off with is, what do you want? See, a lot of people don't realize, but when they listen to that personal development, law of attraction, and talk about the secret, they don't realize that that's just the secondary law. The primary law is actually called law of vibration. See, this is one thing that I want to explain to you that's so crucial, because, one of the things that I was a fanatic of is just studying about personal development and success. How come there are people that are able to dabble in so many different industries, do real estate, do stocks, go do investments, do network marketing, and thrive in everything they do and still have an amazing life? It's because they understand this, that everything in life, there's certain vibrations and frequencies that there are. Just for example, because a lot of us right now that's listening to this call are actually based out in the United States. You know, I live here in Houston, Texas, and there's many different radio stations from, you know, you can hear pop with 104.1, you can hear you can hear hip hop, which is 97.9, but we can all agree, if some of you are in a car right now, if you want to listen to a certain radio station, can we all agree that you have to have your radio dialed into a certain frequency, right? If I want to listen to hip hop music, which is 97.9, if I'm even just, you know, 0.1 or 0.2 off, you'll not be able to listen to that radio station. If I want to listen to hip hop and put 97.9, but I'm at 97.3, guess what? I'm going to hear something completely different. It could be the difference between hip hop music and Spanish music where I won't even understand the lyrics. So it's so crucial, because everything you want, my mentor taught me this, is that everything you want, Marc, is at a certain frequency. You know, a lot of us maybe want something that's bigger, better than maybe what we're experiencing right now, and it's at a certain level. And everything in life has that frequency. And some of us, we want to be an influencer 200K. A lot of us on this call, maybe when we launch, your goal is to position yourself, at least, I would say everybody should position themselves at least at influencer 1,000, right? For those that are crazy enough to think big, go for influencer 10,000. For some of those that want to think bigger, think bigger. But whatever you want, there's a certain frequency to it. So that's why I started off the call asking you, what do you want? What is this right here that you want to achieve right now with GPS? And if you're right here at the bottom, my mentor told me this. He said, most people, they know what they want. But the next question he asked me is, he said, who do you have to become in order to achieve what you want? So what that means is this: what frequency do you have to get to? Because you got to get to that frequency first before you achieve the goal that you want to attain. A lot of us have this. A lot of us have what we know what we want, but the question is, are you becoming the person you need to be in order to achieve it? And it's so crucial, because when I got involved in network marketing, I didn't understand about success. I didn't understand about having a positive attitude. I didn't understand that, you know, you attract who you are. You know, I used to be the type of person that was so negative all the time. I would say things like, oh man, you know, they're going to say no, because if they say no, it's expected. If they say yes, I'll be surprised and be happy, and I won't feel let down. But my mentor said, you got to change your mindset. You know, so if you're on this call right now, I encourage you to first ask yourself the question is, what do you want? And second question is this: who do you have to become in order for you to achieve what you want? Now, that's the big question. Are you willing to give up procrastination for execution? Are you willing to go out there and sacrifice, you know, laziness for urgency? Are you willing to trade certain things in your life for you to be able to get to those goals and to achieve those things? You know, the reality is this: when I was building my network marketing business, I realized that the people around me weren't thinking big. The people around me were great people. They're still my friends today. I love them to death. A lot of them didn't get involved in network marketing. A lot of them today, they don't want to even think about looking at a network marketing business, let alone even GPS. But you know what? I realized that I had to limit my time with them and spend time and create an environment around me that's going to be able to help me and push me to get me to keep myself accountable to be the person I needed to be so I could achieve the thing that I wanted. You know, I know a lot of you right now this is clicking for you, and I hope it's clicking for you, because you know, this is one thing that I've learned. I could teach you how to present. I could teach you how to close. I could teach you how to do these certain things. But my mentors always taught me that the best way you can help someone build the business and build their business is not to do it for them. It's to build them, to build the person. Because the reality is that people build business. And if you can grow your leadership level, you can grow your thinking, and you could go out there and think bigger than ever before. Guess what? If you can go out there and think big, your group will grow. It's called Leadership Lid by John Maxwell. First law that he talks about in his 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. Okay? Magic of thinking big. I love it, Mr. Richard. I love it. And that's the reality. You know, that's the reality. And so again, these are just few simple mindset of things that I just encourage you to have before we talk about strategies of how to build a business and what to do to go out there in order for you to be able to progress and move and to really accelerate this week towards your goals of what you want. Okay. And also, last thing I want to share with you is this. It's called law of compensation. It's crazy because I didn't realize this until just recently. Okay. Law of compensation, there's actually three parts to this. The first part to law of compensation, and by the way, your law of compensation stands for this. It says what you're going to make is going to be based on your ability to do these three things. Okay. So law of compensation, okay, all it is your ability to do these three things. Number one is you got to ask yourself, is the need for what you do, okay? Is the need for what you're doing right now, okay, a very big level, a very extreme level? Let's talk about this for a second. The need for what we do. Can we agree, because of COVID-19 and if this happened, can we agree there's other opportunities for it to happen? Unfortunately, we live in a world where there's things like this that do happen. So the reality is that the need for virtual reality and the need for what we do is extremely high right now. A lot of people, in order for them to learn quicker, to learn faster, to be more effective in the time they spend, we can all agree that the need for virtual reality is going to help enhance that field and education. And this is also the reality too. It's not just virtual reality that we're in. When you're in the network marketing business, where you're in free enterprise, when you're in an opportunity where you can give someone, an average person like you and I, a chance to go out there and see massive success, you know what the beauty about this is that we don't just offer virtual reality, we offer hope and opportunity. We offer hope and opportunity. I want you guys to think about the very first time you were ever introduced to the concept of being your own boss, and the price tag was less than $2,000-$3,000. Getting involved in this industry, I was so grateful and so blessed because I was praying for an opportunity. I was praying for an opportunity, and I would have never thought that this opportunity would be network marketing. But you know what the beauty is? When I saw the presentation, when I saw the concept of not having to work for somebody, for going out there, and really what I do is going to be based on the results I get. And if I work hard, I can make money. If I don't work, it's all my fault. And what's crazy is that gave me hope and opportunity, that I was finally in a position that there was a system provided, there was people that were going to help me. And what's amazing is that the people that were going to help me want to help me, because if they don't help me, they were going to make money. And I was like, this is genius. This is amazing. It gave me hope and opportunity that there was something better than going out there and working a 9 to 5. Maybe for some of you guys don't know, but my dad used to be the vice president for engineering and for a really big company here in Texas called Texas Instruments. And, he did very well. And I saw from afar that he made money, but the problem is he had no time. And I didn't want to be like my dad when it came to his career. That's why when my dad, I remember he asked me, he said, Mark, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be like you, Papa. He said, I'm sorry, I don't want you to be like me. He said, I know you want to be an engineer, but I won't let you take the engineering route. And he actually didn't want me to end up in the career that he was in, because he knew how brutal it was. And so, what's crazy is that when I saw this industry, it's more than, it's more than just virtual reality. It's more than augmented reality. This is way more than e-commerce and e-learning. This is offering people hope and opportunity. And if you look at this industry that we're in and the company that we're in right now, in that sort of perspective, I promise you, you'll be a better recruiter. You'll go out there and talk to a lot more people. So it comes down to, number one, your ability to do this business. Okay. So number two is your ability to do the business. Okay. Number one is the need for what we do. The need for hope and opportunity, the need for virtuality is already very high. That's why we're in this opportunity together. But number two of law of compensation is your ability to do these certain things, to do the skill sets, to do the presentations, to do the invites, to do the close, to go out there and train people. Number two is your ability to do it. And number three of law of compensation is the difficulty in replacing you. Okay? The difficulty in replacing you. See, the difficulty in replacing you is going to be based on your ability to do the business, which is number two. So number one is the need for what we do. That's taken care of for you. You don't have to worry about that. Number two is your ability to do this business. Number 3 is based on number 2. So all you got to focus on is your ability to do this business. Ask yourself this question. How good do you want to be in GPS? How good do you want to be in GPS? It's crazy because I remember Mr. Danny Bay saying last week in his training, he said, what kind of mentality do you have coming into this business? Let's face it, it's morning right now. It's 5 a.m. in Hawaii, 8 a.m. in Pacific Standard Time, 10:11 right now in Central and Eastern Time. Let's face it, everyone on this call is leaders. But we're going to encounter some people because of our pre-launch phase. They're going to have this type of mentality. It's called lottery ticket mentality. I want to be in it right before it opens. I want to get a spot. Yeah, but they don't understand. They can't run a race with one leg. Can you imagine? You're like trying to run against Usain Bolt with one leg. You're not going to make it happen. You're not going to beat him. You can't build this business with one leg. A lot of people are like, well, I just want to get a spot. Well, you don't understand. You can get a spot, but if you never work it, you don't learn how to work it, you're never going to hit the highest positions. Are you thinking about do you have a lottery mentality where you're like, I'm going to recruit one person on my left, one person right. That's all I got to do is recruit 2 people and I'll be an influencer 200K. That's not the reality. That's not how this business works. How many of you realize that you can recruit one person and one person, hey, let's face it. There are some people that get involved, your first recruit, and they could see tremendous success and you could feel like, wow, I'm on cloud 9. But how many of you can also agree there's some people that you're going to introduce to the business that are, we call them all show, no go, right? They're like, oh, I'm going to tear this up. I'm going to crush this. Like, watch me. I know all of Texas. I know all of California. And they get started and then you realize they don't know anybody, right? So there are going to be individuals that get involved. But the reality is that you cannot have a lottery mentality if you want to go out there and see massive success. And that's one thing that I remember my mentor sharing with me. And so that's why right now, I'm just aggressively talking to people. I'm aggressively going out there and getting good at this business. And, even though I came from a previous company into GPS, this is the thing that I have to share with you. If anybody here is coming from another network marketing company into GPS, you have to remember, you're not just learning things. You have to first unlearn and then relearn. You have to break old habits before you can create new habits. And that's one thing that some of you will start to realize, that there's some mistakes that I make, as I do the presentation, as I do certain trainings, because I have to get rid of old baggage. My mentor told me this. I learned this from Mr. Danny Bay. He said, imagine for a second, if you had a glass of Coca-Cola, okay? You had a glass of Coca-Cola and you had it out for about a week. Can we agree, if you want to have a good beverage and you had a glass of Coca-Cola that was out for a week, you're not going to drink that. How silly would it be if you're like, well, I have a glass of Coca-Cola. Let me pour new Coca-Cola into the old glass while there's still old liquid there so it can taste better. No, it doesn't work. You can't add new things into old substance and for it to taste refreshing. What's the first thing you got to do? You have to get rid of the old substance. You got to get rid of the liquid that was sitting there for a week before you pour something new in it for it to be refreshing. So if you're coming from a previous company, you have to understand, you're not just learning the process of how to be a great influencer in GPS, but you got to understand that you got to also unlearn certain things, break certain habits, and then relearn certain things that are taught here in GPS. Not even just that. If you're new to network marketing and this is your very first company, the question now I have for you is, how fast do you want to get good? How fast do you want to learn? The reality is that every single one of us are going to have a learning curve no matter what we experience and what we do. The question is, if you embrace it, okay, the question is this: if you're going to embrace it, is what's going to determine if you go through it a lot quicker and learn it a lot faster and progress a lot sooner with our opportunity. So don't have a lottery mentality, okay? When you get good at this business and you become an influencer 10K, influencer 50K, influencer 100K, influencer 200K, you understand how difficult it will be to replace you? When people make the big money, it's because it's so difficult to replace that individual. It's crazy because, my previous opportunity in my previous company, when I saw that leadership change of the person that was going to run the Asia expansion, guess what? I knew that they were not going to expand into Asia no longer, because it was so difficult to find individuals that are world class, and let alone have a vision so big that you could think as big as you want and still fit in that person's vision. That's why when I present, when I say to each and every one of you, I have a lot of respect for Mr. Danny Bay, and this is how I saw GPS. This is how I saw opportunity. When Mr. Bay started GPS and he started the first country in Korea, I actually was bugging him for weeks. And, he was so busy. There was time that he ignored my call. I would be persistent. He picked up. I said, sir, what's GPS? He's like, man, Marc, I'm so excited. I'm pumped. I would tell you, but if I told you, I would feel bad. I'm like, why would you feel bad? He said, because we're not open in the United States yet. I don't want you to get so excited and then not know what to do. And so this is the reality. I said, sir, I want to know. And I found out that he was going to be throwing a convention in Korea in February. And this was before coronavirus got big. And I said, hey, sir, by the way, sir, I shot him a screenshot and said, hey, this is my flight to Korea. I'm coming out there for a few days. I hope you're going to still be there, because I bought the ticket without him knowing when he, I mean, I'm telling you, like, I'm like, when I want something, I had a vision. In fact, in my vision board, there was a picture of Mr. Danny Bay and I on stage in front of 100,000 people. And I'm thinking, hey, this is it. This is the opportunity. And I booked my flight, spent $5,000. And I'm like, all right, let's go. I booked that flight, went to Korea, and thank God he was still there, because that would have sucked, right? But he was there. He picked me up. I went out and ate with him, and this is what happened. I went to the office, the GPS office, and I said, so sir, can you share with me what this is all about? He said, okay. He gave me a Pico device, and I'm like, whoa, this is the first time I've ever held a virtual reality headset. And I know some of you are like, well, virtual reality is, I didn't even know about virtual reality before I held that product in my hand. And I said, okay, what do I do with this, sir? He said, put it on. I put it on, and he pushed the button, and I saw the opportunity video on the GP. I was in an IMAX theater. And the cool part is, nobody was there in the theater. I was looking around, and I'm like, this is reserved for me, and I felt good. And, there's a few people in the office that were just laughing, because I was just like looking around. I'm like, man, this is reserved just for me. And then all of a sudden, bam, Mr. Danny Bay was in front of me. I'm like, sir, you're here. Like, and he was out, he was not just in the headset. No, he was right beside me, but the video came up and it was in 3D, and he was right in front of me. And I was like, Mr. Bay. And I was like trying to touch him, but, and that was my experience. And he said, Marc, this is what we do. Virtual reality, but imagine personal development content. I was like, this is unbelievable. And why it was so unbelievable was because when I was watching the opportunity, understand, it's not like Zoom presentation. It is so much better. You know why it's so much better? Because I had no distractions, and the only thing I could see was either empty chairs. But you guys know, if you ever go to a theater and there's nobody there, you're not looking at the empty seats the whole time. You're looking at the thing that's moving in front of you. And the fact that I was so focused and so dialed in, and realized, like, oh my gosh, I paid attention to a video like this more than anything else, just because I had no distractions. That was my first experience of GPS. And so what's amazing is that the reason why I'm bringing this up is because you have to understand that when Danny Bay was sharing with me, he's like, Marc, we will be the fastest company in network marketing to do $1 billion. He said, Marc, we're going to open up so many countries so aggressively. He said, we're going to go out there and not just do $1 billion in the United States. We're not just going to do $1 billion in Korea. We're not just going to do $1 billion in Japan. He said, we will be the biggest network marketing company. I would ask him questions like, what about Facebook? What about Apple? This and that. And he's like, Marc, you know what? When they see that we're the #1 distribution channel for VR, they're going to want to work with us. When they see that we're doing so big things that are so big, they're going to want to do business with us, because they don't want to miss out. because it's either they partner up with us and we're going to make more money and help them too, or their competitor is going to be partnered with us and they're going to go out of business. And he was telling me his vision. And you know what's crazy is that I love Mr. Bay. And this is one thing that I know a lot of us know about him. And if you don't, you'll realize this about him. His vision is so big that no matter how big each and every one of us on this call think, all 172 of us, we could think as big as we want. It still fits in the vision of Mr. Danny Bay. And that's why I respect him so much. You know, for some of us that are thinking, man, I can't wait to retire my family. Do you think his vision is bigger than that? Of course it is. A lot of us want to say, hey, I want to go out there and make $1 million a month in network marketing. Do you think he's already thinking that? Of course he's thinking that already. So that's what I want to share with you is don't have the lottery mentality, because the opportunity you have is positioning you right now where if you master it and your ability to do this is world-class and your difficulty in replacing you is so difficult, guess what? You will make a fortune in this business. And I'm so excited for you to experience this opportunity. Because why? Because I've seen what network marketing can do. One home run can change your entire life. But this is one of the biggest things that I want to share with you, okay, that I really believe is the biggest lesson that I learned last 10 years being in this industry. And Mr. Michael shared this with me, and I didn't understand because, you know, Mr. Michael, I respect him so much because he's had so much experience in the network marketing space that he's hit the top position in every single company that he's been in, the top position over and over and over. And this is one thing that I realized about him. He taught me it's easier done faster than slower. Okay. Some of you, you'll get this now, and I hope you get it now. And some of you, I hope you get it soon. Because when I understood this, right, it wasted almost 7 years of my career, last 10 years. He said, it's easier done faster than slower. And what I mean by that is that, Marc, when you sprint and you're trying to win a race and you're sprinting to the top of the company, go as fast as you can. Go as fast as you can. Cut off all distractions. Do whatever you got to do so you don't get anything that's going to nudge you off track. Because what does Jim Rohn says? He says, whenever you see someone fall off track, when you see someone that stop plugging into events or they stop going to training, they all of a sudden, they stop showing up to opportunities. He said, they don't fall off track. They get nudged off track. You know, Jim Rohn says, is that little elbow that's nudging you. And so I learned this. And when I got involved in my very first previous company, I went to the second highest position and became the youngest success story in that company. And the reason why is because I said to myself, I want to be like Mr. Danny Bay, and I want to be the youngest because he did something unheard of at the age of 22 years old, and I wanted to beat it, and I did it at 21 years old. But this was the difference. I didn't sprint all the way to the highest position, and I had a 7-year gap. A 7-year gap. It took me 2 years to hit the second highest position. It took me another 7 years to hit the highest position. Why? Why is that? It's simply because, right, of many factors, but I could have looked at it and said, hey, I could have gone all out. I could have gone all the way to the top if I just took out every distraction and didn't let anything nudge me off track. See, the reason why I'm sharing that is because I want you guys to not just learn from my personal mistakes. Guess what? Still hit the top, but could have done it a lot faster and could have had a better success story. Every single one of us right now, we're at the same position. You know what? We're all influencers. No one here is even influencer 100 yet, because why? You know, back office is still temporary, but you know, that's another conversation. But I'm saying this because every single one of us is influencers right now. Not influencer 100, not influencer 500. We're not even influencer 1000. The best part is this. We're all at the same position. We're all still at pre-launch, and every single one of us can sprint to 200K. Is it going to be difficult? Of course it's going to be difficult. But you know what the beauty about getting to 200K is? When I was doing the compensation plan and breaking down the numbers, did you know that monthly influencer level bonus of $200,000 a month when you're at that position, is nothing compared to the GIM portion. Okay? And you know what's crazy? The GIM portion is the most difficult thing to explain, but we figured it out. But you know, it's the difficult thing to explain. But this is the beauty about it, is the fact that a lot of us, it's not the 200,000. You know what the beauty about it is? When you get to that level and you find leaders, you know how beautiful it is to find leaders in just 2 legs? I had to find it in 6 legs before. You know how difficult that is? Now we got to find leaders in 2 legs. I'm like, oh, thank goodness, right? When you find it in 2 legs, you know you could have a business that outlives you. That's what blows my mind. When you make a home run and you build it fast, do you know how many people are in your business that's also going to hit the top positions fast? You're going to mess some people up financially in their head because they're going to think, why would I ever think about getting another job or getting another business when you could make this much in GPS? And they did it in that time frame. See, it's so important for you to set the pace for your group. You know, I love it right now. My schedule, I'm going from literally like every single day, waking up close to, 8 a.m., boom, going to bed at like 3 a.m. I'm like, man, I'm hustling right now to see who I can talk to. You know how many people that my family and I sponsored last 7 days? I'm telling you this, guys, because I want every single one of us to hit a home run. I want you guys to feel what it would feel like for you to be at the top position of a network marketing company. Some of you know how it feels, but I really want all of us to experience it so we can go travel together. So don't just build 1 leg. You got to go out there. Don't just recruit 2 people. Last thing I'm going to share with you is Mr. Danny Bay's philosophy that he shared with me for the last 9 years. He said, Marc, overwork. And he said, and overplan. If you overwork and you overplan, worst case comes to worst, you still see success. Okay? See, if you're building this business, and some of you were blessed to have a team that's moving right now, and you have 1 leg that's moving, just remember, okay? That's great, congratulations. But even if you have a team that's cranking, even if you have 1 leg that's moving, you still gotta build 2 legs. Meaning, you gotta recruit some people on your working leg, and you gotta also recruit some people on your power leg because you wanna have influence within your organization. You wanna have influence within your 2 teams. You wanna go out there, and when you recruit people, just keep going and be a sponsor monster. That's what I can tell you guys right now. Whoever is a sponsor monster in GPS, promise you will make a fortune. If you can focus, and every single day, I'm literally thinking to myself, Marc, become a sponsor monster, sponsor monster, sponsor monster, sponsor monster, sponsor monster. How many people can you sponsor? How many people can you go out there and have it, as a front line on your graphical tree? Like, I'm telling you guys this because if every single one of us have a mentality of being a sponsor monster and not a lottery ticket mentality, man, I'm pumped for each and every one of us. Man, I'm so excited because you have no idea how big we're going to get this company that I'm scared because there's going to be so many other network marketing companies that are just going to want to come on board because they're not going to want to miss out on what we're going to do. Okay. And so that's one thing I want to share with you guys for really starting off the week is to get in the right mentality. And to recap is to first know what you want. Be willing to become the person you need to be in order to get what you want. And don't forget law of compensation. It really comes down to your ability to do this. So it's going to be very, very difficult, almost impossible to replace you as a person and as a leader in GPS. We can't replace you in life because you're very valuable. But when it comes to GPS, let's make it where it's so difficult that you're irreplaceable. And if you become a sponsor monster and you do that all the way up to 200K, and when you're at 200K, imagine having 1,000 people, 10,000 people in your team that are all sponsor monsters. Guess how exciting and how crazy this is going to be. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate every single one of you. Mr. Danny Bay confirmed that he will be on the call tomorrow, but I want to thank each and every one of you for spending the time to get this week started really aggressively. I love each and every one of you. You know, some of you are going to be some of my best friends, so I hope we get to know each other and see each other very soon. But I can't wait to see every single one of you tonight at our business overview. So let's pack it. Let's go out there. Let's sponsor some new people. Let's have today be the day where every single one of us sponsor at least one person and literally put in 200, boom, new business partners in the system today. So let's make it happen, everybody. Take care. Have a great day, great week, and I'll see you guys soon. Go all out, everyone.